embarrass him because the person I consider a mentor is here. He's the vice chair, and that would make a point. He's here, and he's here because I'm here, right? He's the vice chairman of the Historical Society, and he mentors many young people, particularly young women of color. But he's my mentor because he's right shoulder to shoulder with me, really battling some big battles to change an organization that is been around a long time, that is set in its ways, that has ways of doing things, that isn't as inclusive as we want it to be. And he's taken the hit from me a lot, right? And he gives me advice that is 97% right. And when I tell him I don't agree, he says, okay. You know, and he's still there for me. So his name is Jim Cordial. He's one of the
Thank you very much for all your responses. Very interesting to hear all
Thank you. For our next question, we are interested in what gets in the way of women supporting women and what gets in the way of intersectionality. We can start with that and
two microphones.
Okay, you don't repeat the questions. I got confused by them. What gets in the way of women supporting women, and what gets in the way of intersectionality, of gender equality?
I'll start with the intersectionality, because I don't think I really understand what gets in the way of women supporting women. It's something that to this day flummoxes me. I think for all of human history, people in power have realized that the best way to keep people who aren't in power out of power is to divide them. And I think that that's a tactic that's used today. And I think that that is something we have to be very aware of when we think about the movement, the women's movement, the intersectionality of the many things. I'm not sure if it was you who said it, but it's really about human rights, not just women's rights. So I'm one of the organizers, one of the Connecticut organizers for the Women's March. We're one of the state groups that makes up the national group. And we, there have been some things that have happened on a national level. There have been some very well publicized, if you're following this, discussions about who's being inclusive and who isn't. And it really gets in the way of a larger message, which is what we've all been talking about here, which is you can disagree. And in fact, it's great to disagree. And in fact, you can disagree with mentors and allies, but it's really good to keep your eyes on the prize and remember that we're going to get things done if we can stay together and shift the balance of power. Exactly right. So, so as I'll just plug in for the Women's March Connecticut chapter, we've really done everything we can to make it clear that we are truly inclusive of everyone's voice. It is incredibly important and it is difficult. And so I think what gets in the way is outside, tends to be outside forces forcing their way in. I believe that's the case.
I agree with you. I think coming from high school, the loudest voices are those that are the coolest voices. And not just talking to people on like the social ladder, but in our class we call them the urban outfitters, types of people who have changed, that they are for you and they believe in it. They will hashtag enough, they'll hashtag me too, they'll hashtag like this is the future liberals want. But then there's a sale urban outfitters, that's the next big thing. And at least my friends, I have a very close group of female friends, and I'll bring up issues like when Me Too started, sexual assault, we'll talk about why aren't we showing up to Black Lives Matter? And it becomes tuned out, or even dubbed as like the political one.
But don't stop asking those questions, because it does, I think it does come through, and there are always gonna be people who are a little less dedicated, and there are always gonna be people who are incredibly, I mean, really, really, someone talked about it. It's not just the passion, it's the really hard work. So keep asking those questions, because people tune in and tune out, but at least they're getting the right message.
I think we also have a problem right now where if we disagree about one thing, we feel like we have to disagree about everything. And that is just not the case. So we once built a coalition with a group of Catholic nuns. We stand polar opposite on 90% of issues that we're each advocating on. But on 10%, we're together. And you know what? It's pretty powerful if you call up the mayor of New York or the head of the police department and you say, the president of now New York City and the head of the Catholic Nuns Order, blah, 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 we'd like to meet with you. And we're going to be on one side of the table and you're going to be on the other. So, we'll be together one day and we'll be apart the next day, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that that's something that you guys need to tackle as the next generation, is how we do that.
Yeah.
Right, no, absolutely, because there are so many divisions within.
I would say one of the areas that needs to be interrogated at Alliance's formed is on the topic of anti-racism.
So,
I just, on that topic, I just want to say something. I think that one of the barriers to intersectionality is the most dangerous kind of barrier, which is a well-meaning ignorance, right? And we all don't know things. We need to get to a place of confidence where we can say, I don't know. So when someone says to you, you do not understand, fill in the blank, you have to get to a place in your own confidence where you say, I don't. You're right. Because that allows you, as Megan said, to be the person holding the sign and being the supporter and doing good work without feeling like you have to be the voice that has to be heard. So I think that that is something as a nation, just as human beings, if we can admit ignorance in its true sense, right, with no pejorative attached to it, the lack of knowledge, then we can get to a more intersectional place.
I agree. Our next question will be read by Monique, who will talk about feminism and diversity of teams.
Alright, so a pillar of feminism is intersectionality. So for those of you that don't know what that means, that's basically people exist in multiple different fields. So like, I'm a woman, I'm white, I'm also Latina, so I fill in a lot of those categories. So basically, how do we make our feminism inclusive to everyone? And from your fields that you've all worked in and been a part of, do you believe that having intersectional teams and diverse teams is the best way to function? And if you do think that, what do you think is the most effective way to make your teams diverse and advocate for them in the case of gender, race, and ethnicity? And then what strategies do you think would be key in developing these diverse teams? You guys can pass the mic around, or
I'll go ahead and start. So in my banking career, I ran global market research for one of the top 3 investment banks. And my job was to take what was a domestic bond house and assess what the business opportunities were throughout the world. So I targeted region by region, and I had the opportunity to interview and hire people throughout all the countries in Europe and bring them into my team. Then I got to interview people throughout the Americas and bring them to my team, and I did the same thing for Asia. I ended up with a model UN in the middle of the Muni's trading floor in downtown Manhattan.
And it was like this really remarkable thing where everybody on the training floor kind of looked at that and went, what are they doing over there? Like, who are they? But what ends up happening when you can do this and find the commonality and common purpose, if it's in business or socially, the best ideas come from diverse groups, right? So as long as we can foster that, advances will continue. I think there's a psychological aspect that nobody's really talked about that's just part of our crocodile brains. And that's a feeling of safety. And when groups don't feel safe or when individuals don't feel safe, they find strength in numbers. And they need to feel that safety by bonding with their own tribe, their own group, and feel that I am part of a larger group and that's my safety, and that is where the us and them comes from. When we live in an environment where everybody's needs are met, I'm talking about very basic needs so that there's no fear and there's no issue of safety, that's when we are all at our best. So, you know, when we start talking about how we can progress, there are going to be places throughout the world where people aren't safe and they find themselves different from everybody else. And as we can make those pockets in the world where people aren't safe less and less and less, then you'll have much more commonality. Yeah.
Okay, just talk. So just very quickly, maybe you heard about this, there was a ghetto party at Fairfield U a couple years ago, and two lacrosse teams actually scheduled a 21st birthday party with the ghetto theme, and it generated a lot of publicity, but more importantly, it really it created an incredibly tense atmosphere on campus. If you're a student in my class said to me, I'm a senior, I wish I could transfer out. But as a second semester senior, I really can't do that. And there are lots of ways in which the university took steps that several of us didn't feel were responsive. So this is what you do when you're in a power structure that is impervious to your suggestions. You create a new group. So we did. We created racial justice and social justice. It has no budget. It's anybody can join. It includes everybody from every walk of life across campus, and this group continues to meet and generate ideas and put pressure on the administration. So that would be one of the suggestions I would make. Sometimes you have to create something that isn't there in order to challenge the power structure that is unresponsive.
I think that sometimes there is something there. If there is an issue that affects everybody, that you can coalesce around, I think that helps bind intersections. So for instance, the gun violence prevention movement, it pretty much affects everybody. And I've been involved with it for a while, and we've had trouble, I think, making it clear that everybody's interest, from inner city gun violence to gun violence in suburban schools, that it's something that's a scourge, that's and to suicide, to domestic violence, that gun violence is something that affects many, many different groups of people. And I look at the Parkland kids who put together this march, and I think they did a really great job of realizing that they had to have many groups represented at that march, and they did. I mean, it wasn't perfect. I thought it was, but a lot of people, everyone's a Monday morning quarterback, but people were able to come together with different backgrounds, with different points of view, who had experienced, who just very different life experiences, because there was one issue affecting all of them, affecting all of us, that is really a desperate issue that they wanted to speak out about. And when that happens, it offers the opportunity for people to start listening to each other and seeing their commonality. Now, I'm not saying I wish there were more issues like gun violence that people could coalesce around, but I do believe that that's one of the things. It's human. It goes back to what you were saying, Amanda. People are always looking for some shared experience. And when you can share the concept of fear, of something very, very real, that binds you. And I think, again, your generation is doing a much better job than previous generations of taking all of those things and all of those intersections into account. And I think that the rally was a great example.
Yeah, I think something that we struggle a lot with in Westport is that the town is like 97% white or something. So there's a big, I think, disparity in like there's like a group of people that like don't even think about issues that affect other people. There's a group of people that are like, why don't you think about issues that affect other people? So it's kind of like this whole back and forth of like we want to include others, but there isn't that many other people. So it's like we have to work really hard to make sure that those voices are heard, but because we aren't faced with it every day, people don't really think about it. So I think that trying to make groups in which we have to face those issues is really important as well. So next I'm going to introduce Sarah, and she's going to ask the next question.
I know that some of you have covered this question already, but what is the biggest piece of advice that you can give young women or anybody that wants to go into your profession?
All right, I'll start. Lead no matter what position you're in. So, two things. One, I was the chair of the Democratic Town Committee when Hillary lost. And I found myself in a position where many, many people came to me who were horrified. I see what people in this room who came to me were horrified. I was horrified. And I realized, okay, I have to do something. I didn't think of it as leading per se, but I need to do something. I feel like I'm actually doing something, putting one foot in front of the other, but providing people with information on how they could start to look at and perhaps change the balance of power, change what had happened. I was not necessarily in a leadership position, but I felt like it was important to use whatever resources I had at my disposal to act as boldly as I could about something that I was passionate about, and a lot of it was what we're talking about tonight. So then I lost the election. And by the way, I really hadn't planned on running for first election. I was chair of the DTC, and I was doing the work we were doing, and I was asked to run it, and I was leading from behind, and I thought, okay, I'll give this a try. But I really have come to realize that whatever position you're in, I'm on the board of selectmen, I have an equal vote, and I'm going to advocate for, continue to advocate for the things that are important to me, regardless of what position I'm in, regardless of what industry I'm in. Whatever I'm doing, I'm going to make sure that I'm leading as much as I can.
So I haven't hit on my professional career that much, but I'm a lawyer and I'm a trial lawyer. And that is a male-dominated field, and that is a field where women tend to suffer from I'm not good enough sort of syndrome. So my advice is to just fake it at first. People can't tell if you don't know what you're doing. So, I had to go and have a trial the day after I was admitted to the bar. So the very first day I was able to go to court, I went to court. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know which table I was supposed to sit at. I didn't know I was supposed to stand up when the judge walks into the room. But I watched. I got there a little early. I watched the first two people. I can do that. I got up there, pretended I knew what I was doing, and I've been pretending ever since. And it's been going okay. So, especially as women, that's something we suffer from. Don't worry about it. Everyone feels that way. Just keep going. I forget.
Except 3 pieces of advice. My first is to don't stop dreaming, because I think as you get in the working world and you feel the pressure on you, you begin to stop believing in your dreams. Don't stop. Keep believing, and if you feel like I'll never attain it, you'll get there. The other thing I would say is be humble. So when I was at Nike, I was head of global communications. So I was always on a plane. I hired from Asia to Europe. And I interviewed a lot of millennials at the time. And I remember I turned to my colleague and I said, the candidates, they aren't humble. Don't think that you're above anything. If someone says, because you're gonna learn, because you learn best from experience. But that's something that I really, when hiring my team, was humble. And the last is really to have fun. I mean, just have fun. It's, find something that my father said, my day I graduated, he said, darling, he's very excited. You need to find what you're passionate about and do it, because you're going to do it every day for the rest of your life. And he's like, and have fun, enjoy what you do and passion, because when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like it's something you love to do, and it becomes easier. So this is my dreams.
Me as a Latina, I don't know how many of you are Latina. But I'm my daughters are the first generation in my family that are going to school over here. So when I hire my employees, is similar as experience as when I came to the country, the new ones. And I'm lucky to have them because they're scared. They don't know anything. They don't know the language. They don't know the culture. So I see myself when I came to the country 20 years ago. No? So I'm a lucky one. When I hired them, I said, I just came to the country. I don't know anybody. So when I hired them, I said, don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine. Okay. So after a year, 2 years, 7 years, they're working with me. But I tell them, first of all, you need to learn the language. Without learning the language, you're not going to be able to grow. And find your passion. Why are you here? Why are you in this country? Why you wanna stay over here? And helping them to find the ways. Go to college, go to school, go here, go there. So 90% of my employees are female. I don't know why. I don't know why, probably male. But say something. No?
You're our patron.
Oh, okay. I like some of you say already, give them information and guide them, where to go. And that's also what I love what I do too in my business, because it's not just to go make ice cream and sell. Oh my God, I have too many customers that are becoming my good friends, and they're already grown, they went to school, they're coming back, they're getting married, they have kids, and it's like, oh my God, I'm getting old. I don't know anymore. So, like everybody saying, find passion, work hard. Mostly, I think, respect yourself first, and look at yourself and say, when I'm 5 years later on, this is what I really want to become, and you respect. If you respect yourself, everybody will respect you, no matter what it's and as a lawyer, I have in my family, everybody's a lawyer except me and my niece. I work for economics and she's an accountant. So everybody's a lawyer. So no matter what's the feeling, so don't feel like you don't deserve to be there. So just work hard. That's my advice.
So I'll try to be quick, and I have 3 pieces of advice, really, particularly for young women, but for young people. The first thing is be clear. Be clear in how you speak to people. Be clear in how you formulate your ideas. Do not give anybody an inch to misinterpret what you say and turn it around against you. So that means you do the research beforehand. You have your agenda planned out. Okay, but it's great to talk off the cuff. Many of us do it, but we have 50 years before you of practice. The other thing I want to tell you is be unmoved. If you know you're right, if you know your path is just, be unmoved. Do not let anybody move you. I'm not saying to be violent. I'm not saying to be aggressive, but stand your ground. And the last thing I want to tell you is to be thankful. Say thank you to people. It is not a sign of weakness to say thank you to people, especially if they have helped you. Because then you empower them to help themselves. So, in fact, I have someone who works with me who says to me, you say thank you too much. Stop saying thank you to everybody so much. You're the boss. That's why I say thank you to everybody.
Everybody here said work hard, be humble, pay attention. The one thing I would add is to never be afraid to fail. Failure is what they ask you for in interviews now. Talk about your biggest failure. It used to be 10, 15 years ago, you needed to cover up how you failed, right? Now, if you fail miserably, it's the best thing for you to talk about in the job interview. They want to know, what did you learn from that? How will you change what you do next time? But what, for women, just remembering that, remembering to stand your ground, remembering to be brave, fake it, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. If you don't take risks, if you don't push yourself forward, nobody else is going to do that for you. So put yourself in a position where you're not sure, you know what you need to know to get it done. Take risks, don't be afraid to fail, and you'll really go far.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we have 2 more questions. So the first one is, all right, no, sorry. Okay. So, as you know, we've heard the words, male-dominated industry, male-dominated workplace. So, women can face many different challenges in the workplace. So, really, my question is, how in the workplace, what steps should we take to tackle workplace inequality? I know that, Paola, you were talking about the wage gap in your establishment, but what steps can we take so that everybody can feel valued in their work environment, and so that the work environment can be really successful?
I know that maybe only 3% of female are in the corporate world, if I'm not mistaken. So back to your question, what I have to do for my employees as a manager? Well, I was a manager in a financial institution and most of us were females, and different backgrounds and different. They came from different countries, Poland and Brazil, different countries. So I was a manager of everybody. Some of us, we speak the same language, just, Spanish. We coming from different countries. And at one point, are we speaking the same language? What's going on over here? So it is, me as a manager, it was very difficult trying to communicate to them, but also leading by example. I think that's what I learned, and that's what I do right now. It's like some of my friends say, "Oh my God, do we clean? Oh my God, do we do things?" And I said, "Well, I eat this ice cream. If I eat, my daughters eat this ice cream. So I want to make sure everything is right, you know. So I go in the morning, I prepare everything, and they see me. And one of the girls, she's only 21, she's from Guatemala. The other day I said to her, I asked her, you know, what she wants to do. And she said, I said, maybe it's gonna expand, and I would like to become my manager one day, or supervisor. And she said, I can do this, Senora Paula. They call me Senora Paula. I can do this. What you do, I can put everything together. You have these containers and this and that, and it's like, I won't be able to do it. And I said to her, well, that's what we're here to learn. Like everybody else says, we have to watch and learn and not be afraid of failure. Today happened something in the shop, and how we manage their failures was important, and she was able to fix the problem and move on, and everything is okay. So being a manager is like trust myself, trusting with everybody who's around me, and teach them what I know. And somebody else also said to me, oh, people they don't like to share what they know. It's selfish. So I think as a manager, you cannot be selfish. You have to share your experience and your knowledge. So that is my goal.
So that's a great example of what to do on a micro level. So I want to talk to you guys about the macro level, because you hear a lot of these statistics about the wage gap and things like that. You guys aren't going to hit that for a very long time. It doesn't happen at the beginning of your career. It happens towards the middle of your career, the end of your career, and there are reasons for that. And the biggest reason for that is what happens in the middle of your career, which is children. Okay? So I just want you guys to remember when you're going out into the world as activists that what we do about childcare, how we support men who stay at home with their children, and how we make it so that women can work and have a child is absolutely critical to your success in the business world. You know, when women CEOs have a baby, they get to have a nice room that the nanny stays in next to them with their children, and they're brought to them every time they want to breastfeed. That's not the case with the person who's working in the cafeteria downstairs. So let's all remember that we're never going to tackle it if we don't deal with that issue.
To that end, Sarah Croucher was supposed to be here tonight, who is the executive director of Mayor Allen Pro-Choice Connecticut, and she couldn't because she is at the state capitol lobbying. Tonight is the end of the legislative session, and we've been lobbying for a number of bills, but she is lobbying to get to the House floor. I don't know whether it has yet a bill on paid family leave, which is, as you were saying, absolutely essential. So women's freedom is based on both their reproductive freedom and their ability to make sure that their offspring and their families can be cared for, to let them be in the workforce. And that is something that we as a society haven't really tackled yet. We're beginning to tackle, but we haven't figured out yet. So it's really important to fight for. But what I wanted to say is, I think as women, we have or as women, or leaders, or have had some success in business or politics or education, I think it's our duty to be supportive of and elevate other women. And you asked the question before about women not supporting women, and I really have trouble with that. That's what we have to do. As you get older, as you become successful, as you really will, this is an incredible group, always be looking to elevate other women. I really believe that that's an important role for us.
So I'll just say, I actually don't offense anybody at this table has the best job in the universe. The only problem with this job is that it is in danger. So about 70% of all positions in higher education are occupied by people who are off the tenure track. And significant numbers of them are actually part-time faculty. The majority of them, by part-time faculty, I'm talking about people who have no benefits, no job stability, the list goes on and on. The majority of those who are working in higher education are women. And this is something you need to be aware of wherever you go in the workforce. Again, concentration of women automatically means that you're on this road to the wage gap. And then the problem is cumulative, right? It's not just those middle years, it's the beginning, the negotiation of the salary. So part of what I'm doing is working with a national group, trying to come up with new guidelines and a series of other complicated measures that I won't go into. But it's a systemic problem, and it's a problem of a larger society where we tend to outsource stuff, so that salaries are lower, and that is a trend that has to be addressed.
I'll just make a quick comment that, we midway through here, we're talking about why women don't help other women. I honestly, over the last 20 years, have seen really a market change in that. I think things are very different now. The landscape is different than it was. And I think when we look at our parents, our mothers, my mother was the head of administration for a medium-sized company. And there were not a lot of other women. But the more women there are, the more we help each other. So that's helped the change. But when we talk about what choices our parents had, our mothers had, our mothers came from a culture where women really didn't have a lot of choices. There were a lot of very strict expectations. And the expectation was that you got married and you had a family. And that really meant that women were, because there weren't a lot of choices, all women were kind of jockeying for the same position, right? They were all looking to get married. They were all, and that was all in competition with each other, which sounds really crazy. And I'm sure it felt really crazy. But with a lot of choices that women can make now, we don't care if we get married. We don't care if, right? I mean, I might want to do this, you might want to do that, and it's all wide open. So there's a lot less, there's no narrow path any longer where women are feeling competitive with each other. And I think that's a huge change. So the more women there are in the workforce, the more we help each other, the less competitive we feel, kind of subconsciously even, with each other, really leads to big change.
That's great. That's a great point. Anyone else? All right. So cool. Our last question will be you. Yeah.
So in the short little bit of time we have left before we read closing remarks by Shaver, Monique, and myself, we have one last question about moving forward. But first we'll look backward. So the 2016 presidential election pushed issues like sexism and racism onto the national forefront, as well as classism and nationalism. What do you think poses the biggest challenge to the current wave of feminism that we are in today?
I think it's the inevitable backlash that's going to hit us, and it's going to hit soon. And it's already starting to hit with the Me Too movement, where people are asking when the first man is going to be wrongly accused. Like, it's such a serious threat to our society that that's going to happen. And I'm sorry, but come on. So I think that you guys haven't really experienced backlash yet, and haven't really experienced the next wave. But I was your age when George Bush became president, and it was a very similar time. And we had a really fun backlash to them with Obama. So I think it's backlash, it's coming, look out for it, just stay strong.
It's coming from a whole range of different places, which is also astonishing. The use of social media to say things in ways that folks would never dream of. And I think it's a challenge for everybody.
Yes.
I I might say something that might be unpopular. And my feeling with this inevitable backlash, I think, is that with the labels, the label of feminism, okay, it means something to us in this room, it means something completely different to the people who are building up behind this backlash wave. The name that we use, I think, is in large part, in practice, completely unnecessary. When we're talking about how to behave and to lead by example, and that we're talking about fairness for everyone, equality for everyone, we're not just anymore talking about women. We're talking about how to treat each other, how to treat everybody, and if we can guide the conversation in that direction, then the whole feminism issue becomes a lot less of an easy target for the next wave coming at us.
One thing that we've talked about in school is demystifying the F word. And trying to explain, just going down to like a Webster dictionary, that feminism has like FEM, but it's not solely just the women's movement. So we have to call it by a much more friendly word of just gender equality. And people say, oh, totally gender equality. Oh, great, you're feminist. Absolutely not. I think I agree in part with that. That moving forward, backlash is going to come from the label. But I think even with that, it's also going to be saying, okay, well, it's okay to be a feminist. You don't have to agree. And just as Megan was talking about, you don't need to agree with all the same issues. Just as like nuns and people now don't and do. But that rebranding label and making it your own and advocating for those issues that fall under your umbrella of feminism will move the movement forward and include all the issues that will play on many different walks of life.
Against rebranding.
I do. Against rebranding.
Against rebranding.
This is more of a question to your question. And I hope I'm wrong, but we've seen it with many different movements and sort of lack of a long attention span in our society, fatigue. I mean, do you think that that's, God, I hope not, but I think sometimes movements do suffer from a fatigue. What's great is you have new activists, and we were talking with Kathy before about how this class and these days, there's so much more engagement and activism by younger women and younger men. So it's up to you guys to keep fighting, but sometimes you feel like you're in an echo chamber. We're talking about social media. I think a lot of us feel like we speak to a converted, and it's very hard to get the message further than our group of friends who'll still listen to us. But that doesn't mean it's great if you don't stop. I think that's like that.
I think it's a lot from a younger generation media.
You know, I think that I think about this a lot, actually. I think that the biggest danger to really any movement in this country right now is the fact that we're in this ironic situation where, as Americans, we love to label people. We have to know what you are. And we think we can look at you and know what you are. So I speak about this from a very personal place, obviously, right? Based on the story I told you. But what I think is very dangerous with this over-labeling is that it misses the point that we're an extremely multiracial society, a multi-ethnic society, and in the United States of America, you cannot look at somebody and know what their racial, their ethnic, their religious, their political, their income status is. And I worry that as we try to do this and categorize people for the purpose of doing good, we're actually doing more harm because we're creating an isolation among people who don't fit. So I just leave you with that. It's just a worry I have. To me, that is the biggest potential barrier that we'll have to be very vigilant of.
I just want to add something that happens to me. When you become an entrepreneur, you need credit. and business, and you have to, first of all, for you to go into a bank, you have to have 2 years of being in the business. So in order to establish a business, I can't go to because I think it's a loan, no? So, but for example, that 30 years ago, women has to have a co-signer male, 18-year-old male. That's all they need to move the bank and ask for a loan. And if we did not have our movements of feminism that we're trying to fight for the equality opportunity, I would not be here because I didn't have, I couldn't fight for a loan. So let's keep fighting. Let's keep together as a one person, and things like that help us, the new generations, the new entrepreneurs, the women that it's like not stopping. And I think that's what makes this country stronger, like this, like everybody saying that. So being together and like don't stop. Okay? So because 10 years ago, I don't remember the name of the woman that went to Washington for us. I was not even in this country, but now I'm part of this because I'm an entrepreneur. So I thank her for not stopping and keep fighting for us, and now I have a business and I have a loan. Everybody sending me credit cards and they go, oh, by the way, how many of you guys are graduating this year? How many of you guys getting already a credit card application in the mail saying, if you want, you're going to college, here's an application. Okay, now we have to thank our woman who went to Washington and fought for this equality of opportunity, all right? So, all right.
Thank you so much. On that oral, because we're so moved to have you guys on this panel. And so I'd like to next invite up for some closing remarks our teacher, Ms. Shager, who has given us endless platforms.
I don't get nervous, but I had to write a few things down just because I'm so totally blown away by this event and this evening and these students that first of all, I have to thank the panel because Amin said I had to. I was going to do that anyway. Actually, I have to thank you for the next perhaps 3 years of curriculum that you've provided, because as anyone that's in my class will tell you, everything that I hear or see, I bring back to class and talk about. And now they saw it and heard it too. So I'm actually just desperate for class tomorrow, because we'll be unpacking this like nobody's business. And we'll be talking about the themes, and we'll be talking about the recurring discussions, issues that came up over and over again. And I just, I love to talk, and I'm not going to do it much, so I want to get to the next piece. Just one thought and question. I wish that I had like hours upon hours to talk to each one of you about all of the things that you brought up. And perhaps that speaks to something that Dr. Holt said about if something doesn't exist, then you make it happen. Maybe we need to have something that happens where young people in our school are able to speak to professionals on a more regular basis to feel more prepared for the world that they're going into. The fact that that doesn't exist already seems absurd to me. But I will tell you that one of the reasons that this event is happening right now is because I mentioned the idea of having somebody that I knew in the business world Skype into the class. And somebody who hadn't spoken much at all raised her hand and said, are we going to do that thing where you said that the people would come and talk? And that was Anna. And I said, you know what? Why don't you do it? And that's why we're here. I'll also give credit where credit is due, and that's for the class from last year. And it breaks my heart that they're all like taking finals right now and couldn't be here. They're going to be pouring in next week. But we're only here because of that class and the bravery of that class to have the audacity to put the F word up on the wall with Post-it notes and pens. We almost broke Staples High School. But we're here now. Pretty shocked that it never wound up on Samantha Bee or something, because it really felt like we were headed that way. It's probably better that way because I'm still here and employed. But the other thing that I want to just kind of bring up with regard to the issue of the backlash is I feel like, and Dr. Hull would certainly know far more about this than I do, but I sort of feel like what's been happening recently doesn't compare to other movements because it's been more of a whiplash. And so what the only reason, at least not, perhaps not the only, but one of the main reasons that this whole, coalescing of women and their allies happened was because of the Trump election. And that happened so fast. So of course today I saw backlash because Michelle Obama went and spoke about how she didn't understand why women would have voted for Trump, and then immediately whatever the opposite of a snowflake is showed up all over the internet and said, go back, no one wants to hear from you anymore, wait until we run for Senate or president, and I'm a woman and I voted for Trump, and it's social media echo chamber place, but I try not to be in the echo chamber, so obviously I have to see that conversation. But so I just kind of wonder what this model is now. I always get annoyed when people say that history repeats itself, and I like that it's at best it rhymes. And I feel like right now it's even not necessarily, maybe it's a slant rhyme. I feel like it's just different, but we'll see what happens. The only other two things that I want to say is that my only hope for my students is to offer them two things. One is the power to look for lots of sources. I never want to be the only thing that they hear from on a topic. I always encourage them and actually force them to find other sources so that they can ultimately determine their own truths. The other thing is that I want them to be equipped to enter the world, not just to survive it, but to excel in it. And that's exactly what you did for them tonight. And I know that so many of you talked about how impressed you were before this whole panel started with all of them. And I can only imagine that you feel the way that I do, and as well for those folks in the audience. I mean, they're not gonna congratulate themselves, but I would like a round of applause for my students. Final comments?
Thank you so much. We are so humbled to be here and have been wanting to do something like this ever since we saw people graduate here for us with the feminism wall. I remember walking by the hallway thinking, oh my God, I wonder how that's going to turn out. And so to be proactive once more and create a panel like this and hear and amplify amazing conversations. Thank you so much for your time and for being here. So not only to thank panelists and their time and commitment to coming to our event, but Temple Israel for hosting us. And always be open to the community for sharing stories and voices, no matter their gender or religion, but just as a community in a shared space. We would also like to thank immensely our teacher, Ms. Shaker, who for me personally, absolutely changed my world. When my stepdad Randy moved in when I was 7 years old, I was watching Clifford on TV. And he goes, we're gonna turn something a little bit different. He put on MSNBC. And he said, the world's a lot bigger than just Westport. And you're gonna grow up and you're gonna enter this world, and it's gonna be your job with your privilege and your passion changing. And to steal back from Trevor Noah, when after talking about Parkland, he said, these kids, they want to see the manager. That and that was enough. And so with us, with Shaker, there's one word, which I personally think is overused, but has empowered us immensely. I remember when I was applying to college, I'm going to take next year, and I want to pursue international relations. And she said, that's my dream, that was my major. She goes, you can do it. And just to hear that was what I looked up to so much. I mean, the importance of role models and allies, and this space, all of this together is so important.
Okay. So we'd also like to thank Brian from Temple Israel. He's been super instrumental in helping us kind of put this all together. We'd like to thank Ms. Franchese. She's the Social Studies Department Chair. She's been extremely supportive. She's come into class with her ideas, helped us kind of juggle everything. We'd like to thank the female police officer that we have with us. And she's out there somewhere protecting us. We'd also like to thank Ms. Marsick. She's been there for us all the time. Ms. Shager's teacher friend, always helping us out. If there's something Ms. Shager can make it to, she's always there. And then we would also like to thank everyone for coming. It's been a pleasure to have everyone here, and it's incredible to see the turnout that we've gotten. I'd also like to thank all the men that are here specifically. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being our allies. And I'd like to thank our classmates as well for kind of grinding this out. We put this out all together in 3 weeks, I think. So it's been just like thing after thing, to-do list, group chat blowing up, everything. So we've all worked really hard on this, and I'm really, really happy that it came out. So just a round of applause for everyone. We have coffee, tea, water, snacks, and then if the women in history class can come up to take a picture with the panel, that'd be great. Thank you. Have a nice evening.